Hello there. I'm Miss Ilene from Oceanside Library, and today we are going to be doing winter solstice art. Winter solstice is the longest night and the shortest day of the year, which happens to be December 21st. And in this great day of darkness, it actually brings hope for the future when the sun will return fully in the spring. So a lot of traditions show a renewed hope and winter scenes, and you might gather with your family and have meals, and that is our whole scheme of winter solstice. In our art today, we are going to be depicting pine trees because pine trees are used a lot in folk art and folklore, where they are resilient and they bounce back after being knocked with strong winds, and they have this really innate inner feeling of survival, and they can basically survive in any harsh environment. And it's a symbol in many cultures for hope, peace, and love. So that is going to be our premise for our picture today, which is our winter solstice art with pine trees. Okay, so in your take and make kit, you were given a piece of cardboard, some scrapbook paper, some have different designs, whoops, a stencil of the pine trees, some aluminum foil, we have white paint, white glue, and blue paint. And we also have this embellishment, okay, these little crystal embellishments. You also have some Q-tips, because instead of paintbrushes, we are going to be using Q-tips. And if anyone else wants to follow along at home, you are welcome to. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is place our foil on the cardboard. So I'm going to lower my camera so you can see this. And we are placing the foil flat on top of the cardboard as if you were just ironing out your foil around the cardboard, okay? And once you flip it over, you're going to tuck in the sides. So you're basically just flapping it over as if you're wrapping a gift. So I'm flapping this side over, now this side, and you want to make it so that it's pretty tight looking in the front. Okay, and I'm flipping this side over. And if you need help, your parent or guardian can help you with this. And we have our foil wrapped sheet now. Okay, so our cardboard is now wrapped with foil. From here, we want to take our pine trees and we're going to very carefully cut them out. But the trick to this is we are going to also be cutting the scrap paper at the same time. So what you might want to do is take a piece of tape or a dab of glue, and you're going to line up your pine trees against your scrapbook paper. And as you do that, you are going to cut out very carefully your pine trees. Okay, and don't worry about the scraps that fall. We don't need them. But I am, as you can see, Miss Ilene is cutting out around the pine trees. And you want to get the branches as well. those little triangles, and keep cutting that tree out. But you don't want to cut all the way through. So when we get to this part where it's solid, you don't want to cut that. You just want to cut the white part out. So we will get there. I will show you that. So as we're cutting, okay, I'm getting down to that part now. And here I am at that tricky part. So I'm not cutting all the way through. I am just going to cut that white part. So here I go. I'm making a little turnaround and right up the next branch. So I hope you can see what I just did. So now this is still attached. Okay? And I'm going to be cutting out my middle tree. And you want to do this very carefully at home because we want the shapes of the tree to match up eventually. So we want to make sure it has the right cuts. Okay, and here I go down the other side. So far I have this one on the end, whoops, cut out. And these can be made very easily with objects you have around the house. We did this as a take and make so that you would have the stencil. But if you want to do anything like this even freehand, you can. You could just draw the trees ahead of time. Okay, and again, I came down to the bottom. I did not cut all the way through. And I'm going up on my last tree here. And we're just cutting them carefully. Okay, and we are almost done. We're just getting to the end. Okay, so now I have my 3 trees and I have my scrapbook paper right behind them. Now I want to do the bottom part where the trunks are down here. So I am going to carefully only cut the white areas again, not the black shadow stencil. We want to just cut the white areas out of there. So here we go. We have the white removed. See on the end? Over here I have a little empty space, and now we are going to continue around my tree trunk and up. And again, you don't want to go all the way through. You just want to cut the white part away. Okay? And just make sure that you're keeping your stencil together with the scrapbook paper so that way it all lines up. Okay, we are almost done cutting these out. Okay, I'm finished. So this is my stencil cut out, and I have my scrapbook paper behind. My next step will be to clear away the extra scraps that we just had. And I am going to gently take my two pieces apart. And with my glue, I'm going to open my glue container very carefully. I will dip my Q-tip into the glue. And I'm going to be dabbing the glue on the edges of my trees, my silhouette trees, the black ones. Okay. So I am actually gluing the outline of them on the back of them. Or you can use a glue stick. If you have a glue stick at home, that's great as well. Okay. And now I am placing my trees on my foiled back board, and they should lay flat because now I have glue on the bottom of them. Okay, so everybody should be at this point. And now comes a little tricky part. Now I am going to be taking my scrapbook paper trees, and I am going to now do the same to them. I'm going to put the glue on the corners like I did with the other ones. And we know that is so we can stick it on top. Let's see. And you could always go back once it's glued down. You can go back and touch up where you missed with the glue. And especially using a Q-tip, that's easy because it just slips right under. Okay, so here we are. We are now at the next step here. I am taking my scrapbook trees and I am gently positioning them just a little tiny bit off from the other trees. See how I did not center them over the trees? I just put them, I laid them very gently right next to them, just a little bit, maybe not even a half an inch over. So this creates an illusion of shadow. So when you're in the big forest on a snowy day and you see the shadows of the trees, that creates that illusion. Okay? And like I said, you can always go back and glue the pieces that are actually sticking up afterwards. So I'm just going back and I'm touching up a little bit in certain areas. I have my glue. I'm just gently dipping. I'm not dipping a lot of glue in. I'm just doing a very little on my Q-tip because that's all you need. Okay. And I think we have it. So it's all nice and flat. Okay. And now is the fun part. Now I'm taking my white paint and you have to open it very carefully because it could spill out. I have my white paint in here, and with a new Q-tip now, I am dipping just the top, very gently into the white paint. And now we are creating snowflakes. So I am just dabbing very gently on the foil with the tip of my Q-tip, the white paint. And see how it's forming the little dots? And that is depicting our snow. So here we go. I'm dipping, dipping, dipping. And you can make as many snowflakes as you like almost like the big snowfall we just had. And we are just dipping. There's no need for water. Or you just need to dip very gently, and then just with the very tip, you don't want to even go sideways. You just want to do that one dot all around. And maybe even add a little bit of snow to your leaves, to your trees. So here we go. I'm adding just tiny, tiny dots of snow on the edges where the snow usually falls and stays on the trees. Okay, and you can decorate your trees that way. And you can go crazy. You can do a lot of snow if you'd like, or as little as you like, whatever your mood is and what you want to do. Okay. And after I'm done with my white, now I'm going on to my blue. And blue is also representative of the snow. And I am gently opening my container up. And I have another new Q-tip. And we are going to do the same motion with just the tip. And we are making more dots full on to represent the snow. It can represent the snow, water, ice, okay, the blues, the winter blues, whatever you feel. Okay, and you just really want to do that on your background, maybe some down here as well. And now you have your blue dots painted. Okay, the next step after you finish that is your embellishments. So these are little crystals. I kept them all intact, but what you need to do is take a scissor and you're going to carefully cut the rows. They're just held together by a little tiny string. You're cutting the rows. And then once you cut the rows out, you're going to take each individual crystal and cut it off. So you can make a little pile of your crystals on the side. Oops. And they're very easy to cut, but if you need help, ask a parent or an adult. Okay. And now I have my crystals, and I am taking my last clean Q-tip, or I can reuse my glue Q-tip, and I am very carefully dabbing my Q-tip in the glue. And then wherever I want an embellishment, a crystal, I am going to put a little piece of my Q-tip on there and attach my embellishment. Okay, and that's what you're going to do. We'll continue putting the embellishments on, the crystals, and it really brightens up the painting. Whoops, that one's upside down. You have to be careful, and it's also good to have either a wipe available so that if your hands get glue on them, you can easily wipe them off. And I am just scattering them all over the page. And this really brightens them up. And if you have this artwork near the window or something like that, it shines and it's really neat. And it's something to brighten up a dull winter day, right? And you can put this out as a nice piece of artwork for your winter holidays. And that is what it looks like. And you can see the pretty crystals also glimmering like snow. And I think I gave you quite a few so you can do it all over your artwork and see how it turns out. I did a little more on my original artwork here. I did more snow on the bottom and more crystals. Okay, so that is our winter solstice art. And again, like I told you before, a lot of the pine trees are used in different cultures and different folklore. And, you know, they are adaptable and resilient, and they're also a sign of hope, love, and peace and survival. So I hope you enjoyed this little winter solstice project, and keep warm. Take care, everyone. Come to Oceanside Library, look at our event keeper, and see what's going on. Be well. Bye-bye.